In this video, I build the cab mounting brackets and we get all the major pieces in place so that we can finally see what the truck is going to look like, more or less. Coming up, first things first, I am absolutely flabbergasted that more than 1,000 people has decided to follow me out here in the forest. 1,000 people! I mean, can you imagine that? So from the bottom of my heart, I thank each and every one of you guys who subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. So if you are new here, you're not going to believe this. You are now actually in the middle of a forest on a small farm at the southern tip of Africa. Believe it or not. But don't worry, I've closed the door so the lions can't come in. And what is this thing called? It's a diff, right? That's how you say my name. The cab is now sitting in its correct position, but it's just sitting loosely. So I've got to figure out a way to attach it to the frames or the chassis. So here by the front of the cab, you can see the original Nissan mounting bracket with its rubber. I'm planning to use them. Why not? They're still in good nick. So I'm going to be making a bracket now that will sit across here for bolting down, and this bracket will be attached and welded to the Chevy cab. Same deal at the back end of the cab. Here's the original Nissan mounting point. This bracket sitting here is actually the original one from the Chevy. So I'm going to be making up a bracket here as well, welded onto this side, and then it can get bolted down here as well. These are just temporary spaces to help with my lining up, and I've got it clamped down the cab so that it can't move at the moment. Now you can't say I'm not staying with the budget concept. Look, I'm cutting some brackets that I need from an old piece of scrap steel right here. I made these fancy go fast brackets while you guys were away. Actually took quite a bit of time. So these two are for the back, and this intricate one is for the front. So I've got my shiny front bracket now bolted to the chassis. Here on the inside of the cab, you can now see that it comes through from that bolted point through to here. I've created a strong point here. I've welded in some plate there, so I can now weld this bracket on here, and I'm sure it will be strong enough. I might actually still do this, add a gusset here as well. Same deal on this side. So I'm just going to tack them into place now. I think my position is good. Here at the back of the cab, my new mounting bracket slides in underneath the old existing one. I've made this from 1/4 inch steel, so it will be more than strong enough. And then I will also be running a structural member across from one side of the cab through to the other side at some later point. So I think it's going to be more than strong enough. My days of wearing flip-flops are coming to an end. It's cold today and I'm back in shoes. My buddy Randy will be happy to hear that, because he worries about my bare feet and all the sparks. My buddy Robert will not be happy because he hates my shoes. But that's your problem, Robert. Cool, so this cab is now officially in place. I still have to take it off to weld those brackets fully from below. But I think before I do that, I'm just going to put the nose piece back on, because I need to sort out the brackets for the front. Okay, so yes. So yeah, as the piano teacher kept telling me, one more time. Gotta get some bolts in here now to just line it up. Which is a bit of a struggle. Let's try again. Come now, you piece of shit. Finally. Whew. I just had to talk nicely to it. Sweet, my pieces are in place. What do you think? What's your opinion? Let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate it. I like it. I think we're getting somewhere. Definitely still thinking about dropping this roof. But my next mission now is to dream up some brackets to attach this whole nose piece, front clip. I still don't know what you call it. I need to attach it to the chassis. So I better start looking at that. So this thing is just resting on the chassis there. And way in there, kind of hard to see, you can just make out the mounting bracket. I've got to dream up a way to attach this whole thing. That stupid mounting point actually sits way in there, right down there. So I am busy providing clearance between the chassis and the inner fender. So I'm just cutting it here. And when I take the cab off again, or not the cab, the nose piece, I will just clean it up nicely. Many hours later, and I've come up with the mother of all brackets. Just look at this thing. I mean, really. But I think it's going to work. It goes in and it will sit something like that. Let me find some bolts. So at this point it bolts through the inner fender and through the bracing bracket that also holds the mudguard. So this needs to go bolt through there. And bolt through there to sit like that. So this bracket is bolted at that point right there. Then it goes down. And then there it goes across. Let me see if I can get a shot in there. Need to look carefully. You can see there it's bolted onto the mounting bracket on the chassis. Here's the view from the inside of the fender, where you can see my bracket bolted onto the rubber that sits obviously on top of that mounting point of the chassis. I've got my rather strange looking brackets in place. Later on I will build something to connect this point across to that point once I've decided what I'm going to do with my bonnet. This is what I have for now. Well, Look at that! My cab is attached. No slip is attached. Well, this is new territory for me. It's the first time I'm rebuilding a Holley carburetor. I finally got my Holley trick kit that I ordered. And I really would like to get this sorted out. I want to get Crackpot on the road now. It's time. So I'm giving it a go. Between YouTube videos and some common sense, I'm sure I'll get it handled and sorted out. If all else fails, I'll just go find a clever guy somewhere. So look at this, I'm busy servicing the Holley for Crackpot. Some of you might remember all the dirt I got into it. And the bowl on the left hand side, I have now soaked in a solution of hydrochloric acid for maybe 10 minutes. Took it out, rinsed it off, and look at how beautiful it is. The one on the right hand side, that's still to be done. I tell you, that really works well. Swimming pool acid, muriatic acid, hydrochloric acid, it's all pretty much the same stuff. Thanks for joining me here in my forest workshop. I'll see you next time when I build a floor for this thing. Until then, have a good one.